What's up, Patriots fan? This is Nic Rohloff of Patriots Today. Welcome into the show, and we have a lot to discuss on a Wednesday afternoon as rumors and news are flying out of the 2024 NFL Scouting Combine, and it is all surrounding the quarterback position, which should surprise absolutely nobody. What we're going to talk about on today's show is the fact that Caleb Williams, Jayden Daniels, and Drake Maye, the top three quarterbacks, well, at least on most people's big boards for the 2024 NFL Draft, are all reportedly set to interview and have a meeting with the New England Patriots. This is why you subscribe to the channel, because whether it be myself, Harrison Graham, at the studio, in Indy at the Combine, or at home on an off day, we will have you covered with the latest surrounding the New England Patriots. So hit that sub button and join the channel today. I think it's very important that we have to outline that this is not a surprise to anyone, and this is also a formality. Listen, the Patriots are going to interview and talk with a countless number of NFL draft prospects this week at Indy, but also at their pro days when they go travel and have scouts all across the country watching and getting the best beat on all of the prospects in this NFL draft. I think it's also worth noting that just because you interview and meet with a prospect, it does not mean that the New England Patriots want to draft them or will end up drafting them in the 2024 NFL Draft. They are just doing their homework, doing their due diligence on these prospects to get a better understanding of what makes these guys tick. A lot of people like to just believe that guys get drafted and selected in the draft to certain teams because of their ability, and the reason why that they make their way to these specific NFL organizations is because, well, they're uberly talented and their scouts really like them. Well, I don't really think that's always the case, and something that needs to be, I think, brought up here is that a lot of what happens in the NFL in terms of scouting and drafting is based on productivity in college and the traits that you showcase, but also how you are in a person. Like, are you going to come into the locker room and work your tail off to be the best player you can be? Are you coachable? Will you have accountability? There's a lot of things that come into play here when evaluating NFL talent and if your team should take a certain prospect. So that's what these interviews are going to do. And obviously, with the Patriots holding the number 3 overall pick, they're going to have to get a better and full understanding of the top prospects in the NFL draft, and especially at that quarterback position. So don't be surprised that after it's been basically rumored and put out to the media that the Patriots will be interviewing and having meetings with the top 3 prospects, they're likely going to have meetings with J.J. McCarthy, Michael Penix, and other top quarterback prospects as well. So I don't want everyone to just continue to see these news and rumors hit the online media circus and just automatically run with that's who New England wants to draft. I will ask you this before we talk about the prospects, though. Which quarterback would you want on New England the most coming out of the NFL draft? If you want Caleb Williams, type CW. Drake Maye, type those DMs. And if it's Jayden Daniels, type the JDs. Well, I know it's unlikely that the Patriots draft Caleb Williams, but I do still like they are meeting with CW, and they're one of 8 teams to do so. Obviously, Chicago is on there, Washington, New England. I believe the New York Giants were also on the list of 8 teams. And listen, not every team is going to meet with Caleb Williams because, well, there's only maybe one team that's going to end up drafting him and is likely to draft him in Chicago. But I think Washington obviously still should get a better understanding of him as a person. New England and some of the teams drafting in the top 10, maybe Atlanta. I didn't see if they were on the list for interviewing with Caleb Williams. But that is very important that everybody knows where he's at with his mental state and how he is as a person, because on the field, Caleb Williams is as dynamic as an NFL quarterback draft prospect as we've seen in the past decade. Many of your people are saying he's the best prospect since Andrew Luck in 2012. That puts him ahead of Trevor Lawrence, who was deemed the best prospect since Andrew Luck. I always love how that term gets used, by the way. best prospect since Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck was a fantastic football player. Maybe I was just too young to realize this at 12 years old when he was getting drafted. I don't remember Andrew Luck being talked about as this can't-miss generational prospect like we refer to Caleb Williams and some other guys, honestly, that have come out into the draft since then. But that's either here nor there. Caleb Williams is going to go number 1 overall, whether it be to the Chicago Bears or whether it be to a team that trades up, maybe Washington, if the Bears elect to stick with Fields. But that is all determining on the evaluation process and how he interviews. Caleb Williams not throwing at the combine. I don't think he's testing either. So they're going to have the only chance to speak with him at the meetings, and they're not going to see what he can do on a football field. But I don't think you have to when you've seen what he's able to have been doing for the USC Trojans over the last 2 seasons. More to get to here with Drake Maye and Jayden Daniels, but I got to show some love to our sponsor on today's show, which is Prize Picks. Prize Picks, the number 1 daily fantasy sports app and platform in North America, and they are giving you a first deposit match up to $100 when you go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS. They've got really cool features that other daily fantasy sports apps do not have, including community plays, where you can go to that spot on their promos tab and you can see picks made by Meek Mill, Sugar Sean O'Malley, the UFC fighter, and you could take their picks, you could go against their picks, you can do whatever the hell you want, but that is just one of the many things that Prize Picks offers that other daily fantasy sports apps do not. So download the app today, use code CLNS, and get that first deposit match up to $100. I'll have that link and promo code in the description and comments of today's video. So now that we've gotten past Caleb Williams, let's talk about Drake Maye and Jayden Daniels, because to me, those interviews will be much more important than their sit-down with Caleb Williams. Well, because I don't expect New England to trade up to the number 1 overall pick. So if you want the Patriots to draft their potential next franchise QB with the 3rd overall selection, they are going to have to get into the mind and learn every single possible thing about both Jayden Daniels and Drake Maye. What makes them tick? Obviously, the physical traits and the play on the football field is going to play a large part into this. But Eliot Wolf said it himself at the NFL Combine. There's a lot that goes into playing the quarterback position in the National Football League than just going out there and tossing the pigskin around. It is about the leadership ability and taking accountability, right? Eliot Wolf said at the Combine that he wants their quarterback to be someone that the rest of the team wants to play for and wants to play with, go into war with, and go win football games with. So that goes into leadership. He also talked about accountability and body language of a quarterback. Eliot Wolf specifically said you do not want a quarterback that is going out there and pointing at people and making obscene gestures on the field when things don't go awry or don't go correctly, and they do go awry. So to me, that was a subtle shot at Mac Jones, by the way. If just want to get a quick tangent, because Mac did that multiple times in 2023 where incomplete pass, interception, almost picked off. He would be pointing at wide receivers as they were never on the same page. So I think that was a subtle shot at Mac, if we're going to be honest, and might just push him out the door even more if you haven't thought that already. But if you watch Drake Maye and Jayden Daniels over the past couple seasons at LSU and North Carolina, well, you haven't seen a lot of that. And obviously things are going to differentiate when you get to the pro level and the NFL, but at least on the quick macro look, Jayden Daniels and Drake Maye have not showcased that body language and just throwing their hands around in disgust and they're upset while they're at the college level, but they also see a lot of success because they are so much better than everybody else. So I think this is going to be interesting. The report says that Jayden Daniels met with New England last night. Drake Maye is probably going to come up in the next couple days. Caleb Williams is also going to come up in the next couple days as well. So Jayden Daniels was the first prospect to meet with New England in terms of quarterbacks. Expect the Patriots to also meet with Marvin Harrison Jr., Rome Odunze, Malik Neighbors, Joe Alt, Olu Fashanu, every one of those prospects that we've talked about on the show that the Patriots will absolutely be considering with the 3rd overall pick, or potentially if they traded back to the 6th spot, the 8th spot, that they could be considering to take there if they decide to go that avenue. But like I said, I believe a trade down from number 3 would only happen on draft day. I think Eliot Wolf and Jerod Mayo know that they need a quarterback of the future to compete in the loaded AFC that has elite traits that Drake Maye, Jayden Daniels, and Caleb Williams all possess. So it's just all about which one becomes their guy. And if they decide that Jayden Daniels is their guy, but he gets picked at 2, maybe they do trade back from number 3. If they decide Drake Maye is their guy and he falls to 3, I think they would take Drake Maye. Or vice versa, where Jayden Daniels is their guy, falls to 3, they'll take Jayden. But if they do not like one or the other and the one gets picked before them from Washington at number 2, well, then you might be in trouble, and that's where the Patriots might elect to trade back or take MHJ with that 3rd overall pick. What I do know is that we will have you covered better than anyone else here at Patriots Today, so make sure you hit that sub button, whether it be myself, Harrison Graham, like I mentioned off the top. We'll have everything surrounding the New England Patriots in terms of news and rumors on free agency, which begins in just 2 weeks, if you could believe it or not, and the 2024 NFL Draft. So hit that sub button, and I'll see you in the next video. Go Pats!